Quite a lot of stuff blows my mind because I always think to myself, it must be so hard making a video game at all. So therefore, when I find that developers have snuck in sort of secrets, I'm always just kind of like, how have they found the time to do that, and how have they implemented some of them so well? And I'm not talking about the ones where it's just like, oh, it's somebody's name scribbled onto a rock. I want to talk about the Just Cause 2 Easter egg. There was an entire island, Hantu Island, I believe it was called, that if you flew over it, it would actually destroy the plane or the boat that you're in because it was based on Lost. And it was absolutely fantastic because I used to watch the TV show before it all got a bit weird and preachy and up its own arse. I enjoyed seasons 1, 2, 3 and then stopped. But I loved it enough that when I saw this, I was like, hang about, why is this island suddenly like destroyed my plane? Swam to it and that's like, hang about, why is there a giant smoke monster with an unkillable enemy that chases you through the entire island? Hang about, why does it say search in balsa wood on the beach that's pointing into a direction? Hang about, why is there a goddamn hatch in there? Hang about, I'm just like, it was absolutely brilliant to see not only just one reference to Lost being made, but tons of them. And I was like, this is so cool. And then it dawned on me that the game had actually gone so far as to program it so you can't be extracted from that point, and the fun started to wear off pretty quickly when I realized I'd have to reload my game again, so yeah. F*** you! I was trying to think of a clever other thing to say. This kind of came to me when I was thinking of Red Dead 2, because there was loads of stuff in Red Dead 2 that like loads of supernatural just bollocks that you can encounter in the wild. Strange Man is giving me nightmares every day. There's a bit in the chat where you can look at him in the mirror and he's there and it's really scary. But actually, for the one that really blew my mind, it's gonna be Arkham. Bet you didn't see that come in. Hey, and it's about Arkham Asylum because this was a secret so notoriously difficult to find that the developers literally had to go online months after the game came out to be like, guys, there was a thing there. He didn't see it, but it was there. So basically, Arkham Asylum came out, and then after that, we had the VGAs, which had the first CGI trailer for what would be known as Arkham City. It didn't actually have a title at the time. And then Rocksteady were just like, yeah, if you go to the Warden's office in Arkham Asylum and just put 3 explosive gels on this wall that isn't distinguishable from any other wall, and you detonate them all at once, you'll have a little secret office that shows you where he's got plans for Arkham City and that. And it was just like, I don't know why they expected anyone to find that, because it's like, you go to that wall, you put on detective mode, you don't see anything, and then specifically 3 explosive gels at the same time, and you go in, you can zoom in, and it's like, whoa. And they learned their lesson for Arkham City, because if you go to the Bowery, and you notice that there are a bunch of boats around that area, if you dive bomb onto one boat and fiddle around with the little cryptographic sequencer doohickey and put it on a special sequence, you can then open it up, and it's like Scarecrow's boat where he's been torturing this poor little thug. And there were loads in Arkham Knight as well. That there was one Easter egg, which isn't really a secret because it was a Riddler thing, but if you go into a certain wall, you can find Solomon Grundy's little hideout, and there's a really creepy nursery rhyme that plays that I just kind of lingered on for a little bit. You know when you linger on a thing in a video game, you're just kind of there like that.
Sing the rhyme, sing the rhyme.
Solomon Grundy. Come on, guys. Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday. Was he married on a... I don't know. Christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, something on shagging on Thursday.
I enjoy games with a lot of lore behind them that you wouldn't expect there to be lore, hence why I like zombies, hence why I very much bought into Five Nights at Freddy's when that first came out. But Team Fortress 2 is a title where you play as lots of men, shooting other men. But Valve have been plonking loads of bits of lore over the course of the years since the game launched in 2007. And back in 2009, they started a whole sequence of secrets to start hinting towards something new coming, which we didn't know at this point, but it eventually arrived in 2012. And that is the co-op sort of horde mode known as Man vs. Machine. It's great fun. You play all together, and you've got loads of robots coming at you. You need to defend Manco. It's ridiculous. It's fun. The community is toxic as f***, but it's great. And back in 2009, starting with like a winter update, they started hinting on the fact that this game mode was coming from little like scraps of paper you could find around the will and testament of Grey Man, which is one of the Basically, the long story short, Team Fortress is about two brothers, Redmond and Blutarch, Red and Blue, having a feud and then sending a bunch of mercenaries to fight each other. There was a third brother called Grey Man, and Grey Man built this massive army of robots to try and take down Manco, which is like the big company overseeing everything happening in Team Fortress. And yeah, Valve started plonking little secrets in to point towards this happening. So first it was like a will, which had a couple of lines grayed out, which was something very important. And then in two maps, which I think are Doomsday and... what was it called? Doomsday and... It's on screen now, there you go. Thanks, Rich.
Professional gamer.
Thank
you, Self.
That little self-flex there.
Thanks, Rich, for bailing me
Thanks,
out.
Rich, for that great edit.
Thanks for the save, Rich.
They hid things behind secret doors. There are big top secret doors with the soldier out front with his arms crossed. You can't actually walk to this, you have to no-clip to go and find it. You glitch inside the room and you'd find either the spy on one map or the heavy and the scout looking at really blurry pictures of what looked like robotic versions of the classes we play as. Eventually, Valve added in a sort of like a big tank, a big blue tank in the distance on all of the maps. You could look out through a fence, through a wall or a window, and you could see this tank just sitting there waiting. It's like, oh, what's that? In the engineer update, in the background of him working away, you could see robotic heads of the team just sitting in the back corner. And then eventually Valve turned around and went, yep, we're doing a co-op mode. Here's man versus machine. Just reveal the whole thing. But this was teased for 3 years before it actually came out. There were all sorts of bits and pieces lying about, and it was just really cool to sit and decipher and then eventually get to play when it came out. It was awesome to be a TF2 fan back then.
My entry is about Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Now it's a first-person shooter which has been around for like about 20 years, from like the first Counter-Strike. Yes,
Bloody as old as me.
It pretty much is.
Oh god.
Yeah, it's like big in the esports scene. There's like massive tournaments, massive prize pools. Like for example, last week there was ESL Pro League, which had a prize pool of $600,000, which was pretty good. And going back to the game, inside the maps, there's like different sprays and different graffitis. They represent each different their dedication to a play which happened in an esports match. So back in 2016, there was a graffiti put in a map called Cache on B sites. It's a terrorist like holding an AWP, and he's like got like blood training of it and like a scope around his head. That was a play dedicated to Simple. He basically jumped off of the area of the site called Heaven, jumped off of it, no-scoped one guy, and then no-scoped the other guy across the map. And yeah, it was bloody awesome. No, he didn't do a 360 no-scope, he just did a 20-degree no-scope. The other one is in Overpass. There's two of them dedicated to Olaf Meister. One of them is him with wings and a pair of pliers inside some flames, and he managed to defuse the bomb in a matter of like seconds, and the flame like eventually killed him like literally few frames after he defused the bomb, and just won the round, and it's bloody awesome. And the other one is like I think it's like 2014, but they exploited a bug where these three people to stack on top of each other to get over like a ledge to see over like the map, and that was like forbidden. They won that series, but they had to disqualify themselves and just like leave the tournament because it wasn't in the rule book basically. But they put a sign on it saying something like no peeking or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's bloody awesome. But basically like each graffiti and each art in there that they've put in the game has a lovely little story to it, and it just blew my mind.
Cast your minds back. This one's more of a hack, I guess, than a secret, but at the end of the day, secrets are secrets. You guys are all talking about Easter eggs and that, so it's a secret, okay? Cast your minds back to Sunny 1990 something. I should have prepared this. I never prepare for these. But it was when Pokemon Gold and Silver were out, and they were original Game Boy games, so I had it in my little yellow Game Boy Pocket, playing my Pokemon Silver, and my friend had Gold, or my friend had it as well. And we used to get the bus to school, and I used to bring my Game Boy. Probably wasn't allowed to bring the Game Boy, but did it anyway because I'm a total badass. And my link cable. Who remembers the flipping link cable? Oh my God. Back before we had obviously infrared and Wi-Fi and 3Gs and internets and Facebooks and stuff, we had to trade Pokemon through this link cable. And there was this secret that was going around the school, that was going around the world, taking the world by storm, that you could clone your Pokemon by trading it with a friend and then pulling out the link cable like at the last second. They would get a copy of the Pokemon, but then you'd still keep yours. And it was so cool because you could trade, like both of you could get legendaries, you could duplicate items because you could give the item to your Pokemon and trade it, and then you both have a flippin' Master Ball and stuff like that. And it was just really cool. That was like my first taste of being like a truly naughty infinite hacker gamer who should have been banned from Pokemon Gold and Silver. But no, it was just lovely. I felt like a proper little smarty pants. 10-year-old me, or whatever year it was definitely a year of history, and that blew my mind because I had so many Pokemon. Never got Mew though.
Like many people, I had no idea what I was getting myself in for when I first played Dark Souls. I knew it was going to be hard. Yes, Rich, it's a Dark Souls entry. I knew it was going to be difficult, but I didn't know how obtuse the world was going to be and how abstract the story was going to be. So when I first played it, I essentially missed every single secret there was and then just finished the game and thought, yep, that was very good. Went online, realized half the game was, I locked myself out of, so I was like, that's brilliant. But the biggest one of those, I think, was the fact that Anor Londo, one of the most memorable parts of that first game, a big, lush city, one of the only really hopeful parts of this oppressive, depressing game. Everything else is like caves, horrible skeletons, you're in the dark, you're in this oppressive, moody atmosphere, but then you get to Anor Londo, you got this beautiful sun shining out over these, buildings which are infested with horrible monsters, but it's something that you want to save. But then you realize it's all an illusion, because when you go to meet Guinevere, got that pronunciation right, when you go to meet her. Yeah, well, everyone knows her as, nice chest ahead. Sure hope so. Is that a meme? Is that how we meme? Rich, did I do it right? When you meet Guinevere, she's a good character, one of the first real human characters you meet, so you think, whatever. But you can actually shoot her if you're feeling a bit horrible. If you shoot her with a little crossbow, she disappears and dies, and then suddenly you realize that the lovely bright sky was all an illusion. And then you throw Anor Londo into pitch black darkness, and then you're kind of just like, I don't know what I expected, really. This makes a lot of sense. This makes way more sense. All hope is gone. This is the world of Dark Souls, and I feel like That's how I really feel. Like pure shit.
I feel like pure just one amazing chest back.
Just one amazing chest back. Feel like pure just one amazing chest back. And I never actually did this in real life. I could never bring myself. I've played through Dark Souls about 5 times. Still never been able to actually kill her in the flesh. Just had to watch it on YouTube. And that's too depressing for me, Ewan. I can't actually make my game go down. I like the illusion, It's fake, it's false, but it gives me a bit of hope. I can't plunge Anor Londo into darkness, even though it's already in darkness. It's just shrouded by an illusion. Guinevere, hold me.
So the one that instantly came to mind for me was the Red Dead Redemption 2 one, where you have to find the little vampire man in the streets of Saint-Denis.
Which you thought was not a real place.
No, I did not think it was a real place, and then saw it on a map and realised, hey, it's real. I also didn't clock that Rhodes was like Greece Rhodes. I was like, huh? Where have all these names come from? But yeah, so in Saint-Denis, it's all the little notes and little writings you can find that you have to collect and make a little drawing of in your book, and then find the right place and time to actually conjure him. I had no idea about it at all, saw loads of people talking about it online, and was like, right, let me follow someone else who's done this properly, and I read it all up and then managed to go and find him. I was like, oh my god, a vampire, I'm gonna smack him. He walks over, one hit kills me and leaves like a pair of bat wings on the floor. I'm like, oh well, great, I've ruined that forever, I can never do that again.
Wait, he actually killed you?
Yeah, he literally just came up and bitch slapped me whilst I was looking at him. I was like, good, thanks, good. Oh yeah, he slapped me into the next dimension, and I woke up like, oh, I've been out, and that was the end of my whole experience with the vampire. But it was such a neat little thing to throw in. I really love all of the supernatural stuff in Red Dead Redemption, because it's like this whole proper Wild West realism simulator, eat the tinned peaches over and over again, and then you can actually find like the UFO cult and the ghosts and then the vampire as well. So that is the one that blew my mind. Also, one that I read up on, because I never had an Xbox original. I had like a PS2 and then I went to Xbox 360 and PlayStation before that. The Xbox original, apparently, if you leave it long enough, it used to whisper at you, which I had no idea about. That just blew my mind when I saw it earlier. I was like, what? And apparently it's all like Apollo mission logs about what's his face blocking the gravity toilet. And I was like, wow, good. I just thought it was a really cool little weird thing that if you hadn't had one, you would no idea that it would literally haunt you and make strange things, but yeah.
Well, I don't know to what extent this really classes as a secret in 2019, but like many people my age, when I was a wee bairn in 1992, I was obsessed with Sonic 2. And in as much as Sonic 2 is a very easy game, it's like a cakewalk for the most part, there is one very specific choke point, or more specifically a suffocation point. And that's in the second level in Chemical Plant Zone, where our little spiky hero will suddenly be funneled into it's like a sort of chamber which gradually fills with this pink liquid known as Megamac. To Sonic fans will know that already. And basically you have to try and escape through these blocks before he suffocates and dies. It's very harrowing. Anyway, I was struggling with this, and I was speaking to my friend about it at school a day after, and he said to me, "Oh, there's this way that you can turn Sonic yellow and invincible. Like if you get all the emeralds, yeah. Oh, and there's a cheat code." And I said, "Hey, mate, you're talking Bezwillix. There's absolutely no way that exists. That's ridiculous." So anyway, I went home and just played through the game regularly, struggled through this level, and then after that it was plain sailing. I always wondered, I wonder if he was taken the mick, or if it's true. And sure enough, Sonic the Comic, which was one of the best comics out there for comics fans, published...
Real comics appraiser, but...
yeah, of all the comics, that is, it's above the Beano and the Dandy. They published a set of cheats. They said, oh yeah, do this and you can become Super Sonic. And I thought, Super Sonic? Is that yellow hedgehog I'd heard about?
Rascal.
Yeah, so I went and right after school, because I actually, same friend had brought this comic in to show me. And I was sat all day waiting, I need to try this cheat. So anyway, I got home, tapped it in, and sure enough, yellow Sonic, invincible, but he's still susceptible to being crushed, as we all know, is the Achilles heel of, as any driver will tell you, the Achilles heel of every hedgehog. That's it.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want more chatty faces, why not watch through the rest of our playlist? But I just want to say a big thank you to the brilliant channel sponsors for voting on this week's chatty question. And if you want to join the vote, then why not consider hitting the join button and becoming a sponsor today? And we will see you next week. Bye!